You were chosen to hear God. The training process, can you tell? What am I talking about? I'm talking about you guys. Many of you guys are chosen, specifically chosen, right? Many are called, but there's few that are chosen. So called people are here. God takes you and chooses you. He puts you to the side. I got a special work for Brother Jay Glizzy right here. So I'm going to put him to the side, and I need to work on this one right here, right? So when I say chosen, you're chosen to be someone like a large crowd. You're going to be an influence over a large crowd of people, right? So in order for that to happen, God has chosen you, but now you have to get to the assignment, right? So during our lives, you guys, God is going to put us in certain situations where he's going to have to show himself strong or show himself in our lives to be real, because in order for us to believe that God is real, why would we serve a God if he never does anything? We never see him do anything ever. We never notice him do like nothing. Why would we serve that kind of God? So throughout our lives, God has to grow our faith and make us to know that he is real. So there's going to be certain situations that he's going to put us in, right? And when he puts us in those situations, we have to be able to recognize, okay, that this was God, right? Or do we look at everything as like coincidence? Because that's going to even determine your spiritual maturity, right? As to how you look at certain situations, right? And you guys, so, before we get to the assignment, of course, we still in the world. So there's what you call a sanctification process. And that sanctification process that God uses is he uses this process to get us to where it is that he needs us to be. This is the process where he cleans us up and grows our faith and help us to trust him through certain situations, right? By changing our behaviors and changing our attitudes. Like there's certain things that he got to get up out of us in order for us to get to where it is that we're supposed to be, doing that work that he's chosen us to do, right? So when I say, can you tell, right? Some situations God is going to put you in, right? And you're going to be able to you're going to have to know, okay, is this God doing this? Or it's like, is this the devil doing this? Or did God start something and the devil stepped in and he turned the situation around? Or did the devil start something and then God stepped in and he had to turn it around because what the devil meant for evil, God. Like, so you have to recognize all of these things throughout your life, these experiences that God is going to allow you to go through. You have to begin to recognize these things, right? And you have to be sure. So a lot of times you're going to have trials. There's going to be errors. You're going to get it wrong. You're going to get it right. But throughout all of these mistakes and all of these things that you're going through throughout your life, God is using it as a training process, a training process, a training process. So it's kind of like if you never see God ever do anything, how would you believe that he's real, right? How would you believe that he's real? So he's going to put you in a bunch of situations throughout your life. And as we just live in life, we think, okay, this is happening. I'm just living life, or this is just happening and I'm just living my own life. And this is no, but God, there's a path that God has. There's every experience that he's going to allow you to go through, because he knows those things that you're going through or those things that you have to go through. He's going to use all of that to get you to where it is that he needs you to be. So nothing in your life is wasted, right? Nothing in your life is wasted, right? So those experiences that you're having where you're able to begin to learn that this is the way of God, or you're beginning to learn that, okay, this was God, or this was the devil, or this happened because of my own action, and God stepped in here, and God brought me out of that. So all of those little things, child of God, nothing is being wasted. God is teaching you through it all. Even when the devil comes in with certain situations and God steps in, right? And he turns it around, and then it looks like, oh my God, I don't know how I got through that one. I don't know how I didn't lose my mind. I don't know how that sickness didn't take me out of here. I don't know why I didn't die in that situation. Like, so those type of things that's going to happen throughout your life, it's just God showing himself strong. It's helping you to believe and to know that he is God, that he is real. So when I say that you were chosen to hear God, right, there's a process for you to be able to hear him. And the process is going to be happening through those certain situations, all of those experiences that you're having, right? So you ever had to look back on something and be like, wow, I didn't know while I was going through that. I didn't see what was happening. But as you grow in God more, you're able to look back and God will show you, okay, that was me that did that, and then you're able to believe it because of the experiences. You're able to believe it because God was growing your faith. You're able to believe it because of this process, right? I remember, you guys, when I was getting locked up, I kept getting locked up over the smallest thing. The cops would come get me and take me to jail. They keep taking me to jail, back to back to back. Every time I step out the house, walk down the street, the cops taking me to jail, you know? And I'm like, why is this happening? I'm confused. I don't understand. But not knowing my activity that I was doing in the street, I would have died time and time. Like I would have kept dying over and over and over and over. I would have kept dying. But it's like, whenever I was in a situation that would allow me to maybe get killed, or I was going to get killed, God would somehow allow the cops to get me and bring me to jail. But not seeing that at the moment that was God's protection. Are you hearing this, right? But as I grew in God, as I began to go through this process, you look back and you begin to say, I know that was God. And you begin to get an understanding of why you went through that, right? And you begin to know that, okay, that was God right there. With the devil meant for evil, God turned that thing around. And so what it does, child of God, is it gives you a testimony, right? So everything you're going through, there's nothing being wasted. There's nothing being wasted, but you were chosen to hear, right? Can you tell? There's a training process, right? So as you begin to walk and go through these things and you begin to grow more spiritually, you're going to begin to notice things. You're going to begin to get spiritually sensitive. You're going to know certain things this is just God. Like, I know that this is God, because you're not going to hear him audibly. So when I say you were chosen to hear, I'm talking about spiritually, right? Are you able to know when this is God, right? Or know when this is the devil, and know when it's happening because of what I did. This is happening because of this, or I'm the cause of this, or the devil stepped in and did this, and that's why it's happening like this. But God stepped in and turned it around. Like, throughout this, you're gonna continue to get spiritually sensitive, more and more and more spiritually sensitive. And as you're going through these processes of making these errors, and you're making these mistakes, and you're learning from the mistakes, and you're seeing how it turns out, and that God was behind it, all of these things, you guys, is getting you able to hear God. It's strengthening your spiritual ears to be able to recognize and to know that was God. But you were chosen for that, because everything you go through, God needs that. Every experience this is how God is so strategic. Every experience that he allows you to go through, nothing's being wasted. You're learning. His name is being glorified. It's giving you a testimony. And all of those experiences, somebody needs to hear that, right? Somebody needs to hear that. So many times it's not just us doing what we want to do in life, but God is blocking and God is thwarting, and God is redirecting, and he's putting you through detours, and in certain situations, certain things that happen, you guys, you have to know that it's no way that this is happening the way it is. And this is another way that I can tell that God is involved in a certain situation, is sometimes those situations that no matter how much you try, it just does not work. Many times that's God. Many times that's God. So throughout all of these processes, you're going to be able to tell, okay, is this God or is this the devil? Is this the will of God for me to do it? Or is this the devil blocking me from doing it? So throughout all of these processes, this progress, you're going to begin to learn the ways of God, right? You're going to begin to learn the ways of God. So all of these things are making you spiritually sensitive, more and more spiritually sensitive, child of God, right? Because you need to hear the instruction. You need to hear the instruction. You need to get in the spirit, and you need to hear the instruction. So when God puts you before the people, you're going to know what to say, right? You're going to know how to say it, right? You're going to know when God is telling you to say it. You're going to know like what to say. Like, it's just going to flow perfectly, but everything is flowing perfectly because of these experiences. It is because of the process, because you were chosen to hear God. So when I say, can you tell that was God, right? Or can you tell that was the enemy? Because you have to be able to discern when the enemy is working and when God is working. Because if you call everything God, but it's really the devil, that's not going to work, right? So you have to be able to learn that, okay, this was God, this was the devil. I see that God did this and the devil tried to step in, but God turned it around and worked it out, because all things work together for good to them that love God and to those that are called that works according to his. So you're going to have to notice these things as you're going throughout life. You see what I'm saying? But God is behind the whole thing, child of God. And, you know, it's just a process that you're going through. So sometimes you're going to be in situations where you may not understand. And I felt this message on my heart, you guys, because I guess somebody may need to try to get to understand why certain things aren't working or why certain things are working and certain things that don't make sense. But let me tell you this, God needs someone to know this, but it's just a part of his process, right? This is the process that God takes the Christian through so that they can hear him, because they were chosen to hear, right? You're chosen to hear. There's a process, a progressive process, right? And then it's, can you tell? At one point, you're going to be to a point where you're going to just, I know that was God. Ain't no doubt, ain't no way. And then you're going to be able to see things other people ain't going to see. They're going to think, oh, that was just a coincidence that this happened. But you're going to be able to see, and you're going, I know that was God. And then when you bring it up to them and say, God, really, that was God that did that, they won't understand it because you've been processed. You have been processed. Maybe they're not on your spiritual level. Maybe they're not saved, but you're going to be able to discern certain things. You're going to know, even in their situations, that was God. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, child of God, it's all a training process. It's all a training process. And this process is preparing you, right? Because you were chosen to hear. You were chosen for that specific assignment. So everything that happens in your life is going to help you when you get there. You're going to have all the experience. You're going to have all the testimony. You're going to have all the knowledge, all the wisdom, everything that you needed, right? Before you get there, before God puts you out there, places you there for you to begin to do the work. It's kind of like, you know, kind of like David, before he became king, he went through so much stuff, right? He went through so much stuff, so much stuff. Everybody doubted that he was the one that was called, you know? So it was one point where Samuel sent them to Jesse's house, right? One of your sons is the next king, is going to be king of Israel. So everybody looking at him like, I got all of these big, strong sons. Which one is that? He said, no, God sent me here. I know the king is here. I know God told me that. I know God told me that. The king is here. You don't have any other sons? Is there any other sons that you have? Because it's none of these guys. The oil is not falling on them. So he said, yeah, I got another son. He just out in the sheepfold, but you know, he's the scrounging one. He's the one that nobody looks at that could be the anointed one. He's the one that nobody looks at that could be the one that I'm going to use, the one that's going to be called. So if you got a place in your life, child of God, and it looks like you the underdog, like you are the underdog, if it look like you the underdog, and if people begin to see that God is using you and God is doing great things in your life, everybody going to be shocked. They're going to look at it like, I don't know how. You be the last one that they thought, but David was the one that the oil fell on, right? So many of you guys, you are the one that the oil falls on. The one that everybody sleeps on, the one that everybody looks at like he ain't going to never be nothing. Look what he used to do all his life. And you guys, I try to encourage you guys because I know when you look at your life right now, you just don't see how you can ever be used by God because you're struggling with this and you're battling with that and you got these spirits on you and you battle. But let me tell you, when God chooses you, there's a time when all of that stuff breaks up off of you because it's like those spirits can only hold you for so long. Like those demons and all of those spirits of alcoholism and spirit of drugs and spirit of lust and pornography and all of that stuff. It's just that you in it. I'm telling you, you guys, I'm telling you, and I'm not making no excuse for any type of sin, but there comes a point, you guys, when all of that breaks off and then you just going to be kingdom minded, focused, seek ye first the kingdom, all of that stuff. That's what I'm saying. Like when I say nothing is wasted, all of those experiences, it gives you a story to tell somebody how you dealt with lust, how you overcame pornography, how you see what I'm saying? So it's everything is being used for the glory of God once you get out there. You see what I'm saying? So I need to bring this message to encourage somebody that knowing that this is just a process that you're going through right now, right? It's not even you that's making these things that's happening. It's God has you on a specific path. Certain things he'll allow to happen. Certain things he'll make them happen. That's those situations you get in and you like, them things you try your best to stay away from, you get put right in the midst of it because now God knows that you have to work your way through this. Many times things get hard, we like to run off and don't deal with situations. So God will put you in a situation and then you'll have to deal with it. Like he's with you while you're going through it, but he knows that that thing that you're trying to avoid is what he's going to use to get you to where he needs you to be. You see what I'm saying? So there's things in our life along this journey that God is going to make them things happen. Like I just gave an example. There's things that God is going to allow to happen, right? Certain situations that because of our own bad behavior or something we did, we have to suffer the consequences. So those things he could step in and change it, but he's going to allow that to happen, right? And then there's certain things that he stops from happening. And that's those situations where you be like, I cannot believe I got through that. I can't believe they didn't lock me up. I can't believe I didn't get that ticket. I was speeding. I can't believe this sickness didn't take me. I'm just giving examples that those are little things that you're going to begin to see that God stopped them things from happening, which should have turned out a certain different way. But because God stopped it, right? It's like those are the things that God does in our lives. And all of those things, you guys, it help us to recognize the voice of God. We're able to hear God spiritually now. I'm able to hear him in the spirit, see his ways, get to learn of him, know of him. You're going to begin to know, like, once you go and start praying, that your prayers are answered, right? Your prayers get answered at a certain point. You begin to know, okay, I got to be persistent in prayer. I notice that when I pray certain type of prayers, the devil backs up off me, right? I know that when I pray for others, God takes care of my situation. Like, because you can intercede, you guys, a lot of time, many of us are called into intercession. But if you just pray for others, God will take care of everything you need. But sometimes you won't know that until you begin to do it. You see what I'm saying? So you got the word, then you got God guiding you, got the Spirit of the Lord leading you, got every situation, you got the devils attacking you. No, and see, along this journey, like I say, nothing is wasted. Like, you're knowing that because of the hate and the hell and the suffering and the struggling and everything that you're going through, those things, through those experiences, it even show you that you got something. I'm carrying something because friends turn their backs on me, right? I'm carrying something because everybody hate me for no reason, right? I'm carrying something because the favor of God upon my life. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, you're going to begin to know all of these things as you're walking throughout this journey, child of God. You're going to begin to know that you're called. You're going to begin to know that you hear God. You're going to know that I'm going to read the word and I'm going to get a revelation. Oh, I see this. I read that last time, but now I see something different in this same scripture. Okay, God is using this to answer my prayer. Like, you see what I'm saying? So everything is all a process, child of God. It is all a process. And the process could be painful sometimes, but you have to know that God is walking with you through this process. This process is not something that you just alone in, you know? Because the enemy's fighting us, but so we need God's protection, right? You're going to notice that your protection is in prayer, because you're going to notice that when you don't pray, this is when you fall. This is when you go back into sin. The moment you stop praying, this is when you fall back into sin. So God will keep allowing you. When you don't pray, you're going to fall back into this sin. You're going to get weak. The devil going to attack you. And see, through all of that, you're learning, okay, I got to stay in prayer, because when I don't pray, I fall. The enemy comes and attacks me because my spirit man is weak. And when my spirit man is weak, that's when the enemy attacks me. This is why I fall. This is why I go back into sin, because of lack of prayer. So everything you're learning, child of God, everything you're learning, nothing is being wasted. Nothing is being wasted. But you just hold on, you know, child of God, just hang in there, you know. As you grow through these experiences, to get easier, you know. Once you begin to get more spiritually sensitive, you can recognize, okay, this person is a narcissist. I can't let them into my life. Oh, this person, I see they trying to rob me, or they trying to steal something from me, or they trying to trick me into something, or they got an ulterior motive, or this person just want me for this. But it's all happening because of the experiences that you're learning these different ways to discern certain things. You see what I'm saying? So nothing is being wasted, child of God. But yeah, that process you in, just know you will get to where it is that God needs you to be. You will get there. And when you get there, you will look back and be like, wow. That was all God. As I say, like, we don't see it when we in it, but once you get the chance, you're going to look back and be like, wow, that was God, you know? So yeah, you guys, I just wanted to bring that word. I feel like somebody needs that type of, you may wonder why your life is not going a certain way, or why your life is going a certain way. And there's certain things, you guys, that if God allows you to get involved with those things, it could be relationships, it could be jobs, it could be going to certain places to live. Like, he knows that if those things are going to really take you off the path that he has for you, or it's not ordained or for you to be there or to do that or to be with this person, it's just not going to work. You know, it's just not going to work. Nothing you do is going to make it work. So it's like, that's another learning experience. Like, you're learning to know that, okay, God, I got to pray before I start moving here. I got to pray before I get in this relationship. I got to pray before I get this job. Because last time I got this job, I got fired immediately. So you're going to know that nothing works when God is like, when it's something that's behind it, that God is in control of it. It's not going to work because it's not the path that you have. So it's going to be a lot of trial and error, you guys, a lot of training. But like I say, as you begin to keep going, keep walking, keep moving with the Lord, you're going to get stronger and stronger and stronger. Spiritual discernment going to be through the roof. The devil going to be like, he going to be like, man, I don't know why I can't get him no more. It's because you're learning through the experiences. You see what I'm saying? You're going to be able to recognize this lady is a Jezebel. You better get on out. I won't even let you in my life. I ain't gonna give you the time of day. I see what you're trying to do. You see what I'm saying? Oh, this person, they suffer with a spiritual lust. This person, they want to use me. They want to try to abuse me. They want to try to trick me out of something. Like, you're gonna just know all of these things as you begin to walk. You're gonna okay, this person got a witchcraft spirit. Sometimes you got to experience witchcraft in order to know how witchcraft feels, so that you'll know what to do when witchcraft, you'll know that, okay, this is witchcraft. You see what I'm saying? Like, everything is a learning experience, you guys. This message is so, it's powerful, because I feel like God wanted me to bring this because somebody needs it, you guys. There's a road that you're on. God say, I know the plans that I have for you, right? I got plans of good, not of evil. I want to give you a hope and a future, right? The plans I have for you, right? They are good plans, right? They're good plans. So you just know that whatever God is doing in your life, child of God, that the plan is good. You are chosen. Don't look at your life right now. You know, there's a point when we don't see something that's going to happen. What happens is, you guys, it's like we get depressed because we see only the situation that we're in at the moment. Like, so we get depressed and we look like, oh, this ain't gonna never change. I'm gonna just struggle with this all my life. This gonna just battle with this all my life. Nothing will ever change. No, you don't see how God sees. Don't look at your situation the way. Lean not to your own understanding, right? In all of that ways, acknowledge God and he will direct your path. That's what he wants, to direct your path. So acknowledge God. I ain't gonna lean to my own. I'm gonna just trust God. I'm gonna know that that promise that he brought to me, that thing is gonna come to pass, right? I'm gonna know that his words don't fall to the ground. When he speaks a thing, it's gonna happen. I don't care what the situation looks like. I'm believing God to get through. You see what I'm saying? But everything is the experience, child of God. It's all the experience. It's all the experience. And it's a beautiful experience. It's a good ride. Just walking with the Lord, getting to know the Lord. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you guys. So just know that you were chosen to hear God. It's for the assignment, right? It's a training process. And as you walk in, it's like, can you tell?